Morning everyone. Well, I had this plan of doing some building again this morning, but it's bloody cold. Look, it's from our garden. It's a lovely view, but it's, you know, it's nicer when it's not grey, windy, damp, horrible. Anyway, so I'm going to have another day playing with windows today, at least in the morning. And yeah, second prototype. Let's see how quick I can make one, if it turns out better than the first. Going my little commute to work. 300 metres up the road. So I've had this little place for years, very long time. I actually bought it before I became a permanent resident here in Chile. So I was just, you know, right place, right time. And yeah, I just love it here. It's like California without the Americans. Yeah, it really is. It's the same scenery. You drive up Highway 1 in the States, up on the Pacific coast, it looks just like this. Yeah, round the corner. That's all, you know, pine trees and eucalyptus. Very, very few people. Actually got a couple of neighbours now. House down there. That's the house opposite. And nice people. There we go. This is my little patch. So it's actually two lots here. If you add them up, it's about 11, nearly 12,000 square metres. Lots of trees on it. Nice. I built this workshop some years back. That's it. That's my commute to work. So I've been making windows. Here's the first prototype, which is a bit rough, but yeah, it'll do. So yeah, there's still some work to do. I need to trim these edges, which will cut off these through tenons. The sides. The joints are a little, you know, they could be better, but this is the first one, so you know, you expect this stuff. Now this will probably end up as firewood because I can do better now. Let me show you what I've been doing. So I refined my jigs. So I made one for cutting mortises. This is is it a rail or a stile? I'm not sure. They've got funny names for bits of wood in carpentry, and I'm not a carpenter. Anyway, so I made a thing, screwed it to the bench so it holds that thickness perfectly. So this is a little square frame that the router will sit in. On the bottom, bit of perspex, scribe it across the bottom, run a black pen through it so you can see the lines. Line it up and you clamp it on. So you run your router through here and it cuts a tenon, sorry, cuts a mortise. And when you've done that, you take it off, turn it around, line it up again and do it from the other side. And then you end up with both sides of the mortise being exactly the same distance from the bit of wood. So the other thing you got to do is cut the tenons that go into the mortises. So that's even easier. Another bit of perspex, screw to a bit of that. This is a right angle. Stick it in there, line it up, clamp it down. You can run a router through it that way. You set the depth so that it, you end up with a tenon which is exactly the same thickness. So you do one side, take it out, slam it back in, clamp it down, do it again, and you end up with exactly the same amount of material taken off both sides. So you get a perfect fit on these tenons. The only downside is that when you cut the mortises, because it's been done with a router, let me show you. See here. So the router doesn't cut a square corner, it cuts a radius. So you have to shave a bit off the corners of your tenons. No biggie. What else? Oh yeah, cutting the tenons. You're cutting across, when you're cutting across the grain and you're doing that with a router, you get a bit of a raggedy edge. So set the depth, or the maximum depth on this miter saw, and I made a fence on it which has got like 0 clearance. So that cut was made by the blade and it's exactly the same. So you can line things up perfectly. And you just cut the top where the tenons are going to go. You just kind of cut it with this first, and then you remove most of the material with the router in this jig. So they're the complicated joints done. What else? Yeah, I've got to fix my bloody table saw again. Because for some reason, the height of the blade wanders. While you're using the machine, that setting changes. So there's play in it somewhere, or I don't know, to figure that out. So yeah, it's a really old machine. I've had it for ages. I bought it off a neighbour. I knew it had a problem. I mean, the motor was trashed on it, a few other things, but I fixed that. Put a 4 horsepower motor on it. It's a beast. Anyway, but yeah, until I can sort out that problem with the blade height wandering, it's not really very useful for this. With the, God, what are they called? Those little bits of wood that run up and down the windows. Here you go, I'll show you this. These bits. What are they called? I think they're called mutton bars. Yeah, I don't know, what do I know? I'm a computer guy. Anyway, to cut these, I put them in that little jig that holds things along the length of the table. Set the router up and routed them out, but it takes a long time. I've got a lot of windows to make if I'm going to do this. So you can make them I should be able to make those on the table saw in, a matter of minutes. So I really need to get that fixed. Anyway, it's another cold start to the day here. Pacific coast, and it's spring, so yeah, foggy and damp. So rather than be outside in that, I'm gonna play windows. Or more accurately, play table saw. Anyway, let's get into that. Fence off it. Have a look. Where are we? There's no play in that. We call that a bit alter blade. I think that's called an arbor. Now this is it's an ancient machine, so everything on this is in imperial. So there's a little adapter that holds the blade. So let's just see if that's centered. Yeah, it's not catching. A little bit. What I'm doing, hold something with a straight edge so it almost touches the teeth of the blade. Just run it backwards and see if it does that all the way around. Yeah, it's pretty centered. Okay, and you cut these things slow enough, and you know the blade goes. The rotation of the blade will go. It will do several passes as you on the same spot as you move the piece through the machine. So that's not going to be it, and there's no real vibration to it. Well, there shouldn't be. This is like a, I don't know, it's like a cast iron monster. So yeah, there's no play there. Let's have a look down here. Oh, there's the problem. Look at this. There's the adjustment. The height adjuster moves in and out. So there's some backlash or, oh, look at that, look. I'm playing that. So that's going to be wiggling around while I'm cutting, messing everything up. Right, need to get all the play out of that. Should be tight. I did just take the nut off it, and all that movement is not from the handle, it's actually the shaft behind it. You can hear it. Look. Right. Thinking time. Fixed it. Oh, so there was that adjustment shaft goes into the machine and has a worm gear on it that engages in a gear that kind of rotates the blade up and down. That was all right. I wasn't worn at all, but this whole shaft could move just a little bit, and that was where the play was coming from. And when I was looking for play on moving the blade manually, you know, things so bloody heavy that me pulling it around wasn't moving it. But yeah, when you start running it, you can see, because it's moving, it's changing its setting. So I fixed it. I fixed it with a bit of copper pipe. So as the shaft goes into the side of the machine, you know, from the handle going in, there was a couple of retaining rings that sat in a groove to which the whole shaft, the thing would work against, and that's where the play was. So I cut a bit of copper pipe, the right length, pushed it over the outside of that pipe, that's outside of that bar, up against that circlip. It's called a circlip. Then I put the handle on, screwed the handle, bolted the handle right down tight, so it pushed the pipe up against the circlip and it pulled everything together. So now, yeah, you have to really work that handle to change the settings and nothing moves. I can now make windows. I can make more than one window in 2 days. Right, gonna give that a try. Oh yeah, and I'm sure the eagle-eyed amongst you who have noticed that this saw doesn't have a riving knife. That's the fixed bit of metal that usually curls up, comes up with the blade, you know, from behind it, and it kind of guides the cut. Well, this machine doesn't have one. You know, I think it comes from a time in the ancient past when they didn't put warning labels on everything. You know, you get a cup of coffee and these days you got a little label that says contents may be hot, does not contain nuts. You know, if you get that's all crazy, isn't it? Anyway, so yeah, I'm careful with it. I've used it lots. I'll figure out a way to get one back on it one day. But yeah, for now, keep your fingers away from the whirling bits of sharp metal. Yeah, that'll do. Bit long for a label though. Maybe we should just take all the labels off everything in the entire world and let Darwin sort it out, because, you know, humanity may benefit. Nah. Do I really mean that? Not really. Anyway. There we go. I can't actually go and get a bit of wood because it's only 9:10 and everything's still shut over in the next village where the hardware shop is. Oh, I haven't got any bits of wood to play with. Oh, cup of tea. Give it half an hour. Well, I guess the trick is to see if I can make another one exactly like the first one. So, rip this down to size, and I'll use this spare bit to get all the measurements right. A bit woolly. Alright, I'll rip it down and then I'll choose the best bits. There's some clear bits with no knots. I don't have a surface planer, so I'll just have to pick the straight bits. So these are, that's an odd number, 113mm high. Write that down somewhere. Stick it on here. And the width of it, .660 wide. That can't be right. I need more coffee. 1103mm tall, 660mm wide. Yeah, there we go. So let's get these cut to length. Okay, find some bits without too many horrible knots in it. So, 1103. Perfect. Well, this bit has a knot in it. Right in the bloody middle. Okay. Oh, we won't use that bit for those. Knotty bit there, knotty bit there. That bit's clear, so yeah. Save that. Copy this. There we go. I think those are called rails. So, not there, not there. How much do I need? 660. Yeah, I'll get in the way of that one. $660. There is a knot, but I can do with that one. It's wood, it's not perfect, so nice bit about this fence that I put on the saw is very easy to line everything up before you cut it quickly and right, so let's find a nice bit out of this. It's a clean edge. Yeah, not right in the wrong place. Not here, but bit ugly. Let's trim up the end. Yeah, plenty of, oh, hang on. I can avoid that knot. Great. Yeah, okay. I should have trimmed that end off. I didn't. That sucks. You know what? This is all in a joint, so when I trim that bit off, I'll leave it. Okay. Let's have that bit. Let's move you around here so you can see. Yeah, so on this jig, I put on a saw. You see there's a saw cut. The blade goes through it, so you just line it up. You see that? Very easy to line it up. Very flat. Never any tear through, because everything's supported. So I need these pieces. I'll just pull them out the window and copy one. Yeah, let's rip them down. I need two bits like this. And that will avoid the knots. Where did they go? Oh yeah. Yeah, copy that one. Change the height. Oh, that's tight. That's spot on. Right, we can run these. Decided not to use the router to clean these bits up. Just as quick with a chisel. Next time I'll get the table saw settings a little bit more accurate, and then I won't have to do that. But yeah, everything is exactly the same profile, which is what I want. So the next bit is cut the mortises in the rails. They're definitely rails. Could be styles. You know, I'm sure there's people out there that are better at woodwork than me, so yeah, feel free to correct me. Right, let's get this lot laid out. Where's my bloody pencil? Forever losing stuff in here. And it. Right, so last time I messed this up. This time I won't. They go around like that. I'm going to label them. Right, the tenons at the joint on this side obviously has to fit that profile. And take the measurements from there and wrap them round. Hopefully this time a bit more accurately. That one is correct. this one also correct. Now this bit of the that bit has to go. Now I'll do that. I've labelled them this time. A to D on each corner. Because the other thing I did last time was I got all my bits and pieces muddled up. Didn't help. Okay, so do this one. Measurement errors kind of stack up, so and it's wood, you know, it's not, this is not a precision job. Okay, so I now know where all my mortises have got to go. Cut one of them in out. Where's the jig? There it is. Oh, you bollocksed it up. That will not be properly supported. Oh, that'll do nicely. Alright, so now line it up where I want those mortises to go and have at it. Right, so last time I put the mortise in the middle, but it's kind of big for the space that I've got. So what I'm going to do, put it that way, so it's lined up with that inside edge. It gives a bit more meat here, which is a good thing, and that joint is covered up by the stile that goes in here, so it doesn't really matter. You never see it because there's going to be a window sitting on this bit, and it gives me a nice precise little spot to line up on. Keep doing that, I made another hole in the bench. Going. Wrong way around. That's it. I'll see how we did. Ta-da! Through mortise. Right, so now I'll go from the other side. Okay, mortises are done with one small cock up. I probably should have left it in the video actually. I put one of the mortises in the wrong place. Set the jig up on the wrong side of my line. Okay, well, I made another bit. It didn't take long. So next bit, I've got to cut tenons in this. So to get a clean edge, I'm going to just slice them with the miter saw and pull all the rest of it out with the router. So, here we go. I need to mod my saw because the depth setting on it, it's got a depth limit, but it doesn't limit it enough, so not very wonderful. Be careful. So the idea is the miter saw gives a nice clean edge. The router leaves a raggedy edge, so this helps. Tenon. Right, so these parts all milled up, everything fits, kind of. I still have to cut the shoulders, or cut the width of the tenon, which is it's no big deal, and do a test fit, but yeah, so far looking good. Around over the edges of the tenons so they fit the mortises. Get CNC machines, which are like computer-driven routers, basically. You could probably make this where you just kind of stick a bit of wood in, push the button, and then while you have a cup of tea, it makes you a window. Basically like a 3D printer with a router instead of like a plastic extruder. I've got a 3D printer. It's a bit like a motorised glue gun, which is be a fun project, building a CNC thing. It's kind of the same technology, so. And how hard can it be? But I think I need another project now, like I need a hole in the head. I'm busy. Maybe one. Okay. See if that fits. Yeah, nice tight fit. Yeah, not bad. Up by 2 millimeters on the diagonal, so that'll pull in the clamps. Happy. Okay, let's make the inside bits. This one. See if it goes together. Come on. Little joints for the bars in the middle of the window. Ooh, yeah. So 2 for 2. 2 for 2. Tight, good fit like this. Where are we hanging up? Oh, small tweak required. That was it. go. When in doubt, hit it. If it doesn't work, hit it again. And we have another window. Way better than the last one. But the same size. So, yeah. If I can successfully make a window exactly like another window, I think I'm in business. I'm going to make the windows for my house. Right, well that's it for now. It's kind of lunchtime. And I've got some computer things to do. So I might do that this afternoon. Unless it brightens up. Oh, look. Yeah. This is not damp. So yeah, my next job, which I've been putting off for a couple of days, I have to grind some of the concrete slab where the floor plates for the walls are going to fit. Because in places it's a bit lumpy and uneven. You know, it's good to start off with something flat. So yeah, time to annoy the neighbours and get the grinder out, but you know, it's Monday. Why not? That's it for this one, so bye.